Good morning, I'm Carlisle Douglas with Peruse the News, a brief synopsis of a few articles featured in our local newspapers sponsored by Instacoupons, Around the Town Deals, a service of CTVIEW Multimedia. Instacoupons Around the Town Deals, as the name suggests, is a process where we search for bargains throughout SVG and make them available to you, our listeners. Do you know of any deals? Do you have a product or service to sell with attractive and competitive prices? Call us at 491-9140 or email ctviewmultimedia@outlook.com. Let's start with the news. The front page is headlined, "Travis Feel Victimized." It reads, Travis Harry, who was among over 300 sailors from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, which is currently repatriating nationals to this country, said he feels victimized. Harry, who is well known for his social media, videos, comments and posts on several issues, said in a video on Tuesday that he did not feel welcome home. He also stated in that video that he felt victimization as soon as I stepped off the ship. For more on this story, please read the news. Also on the front page is, NDP President promises to assist kidney patients with dialysis cost. It reads, the president of the New Democratic Party, Dr. Godwin Friday, has lamented the high cost of kidney dialysis treatment here, and adding to that is the high cost of transportation to the diagnostic center in Georgetown, especially for persons outside of the northern windward area. His concern for kidney patients led to him to stating that an NDP government would have to assist persons to be able to access the treatment which is available but still outside of the reach of many persons. For more on this story, please read the news. Continuing in its focus on healthcare, a story on page 15 of the news is headlined. It's titled, Where Does the Money from Grenadines Investments Go? This article also goes under the subtitle, Hospital Needed in Southern Grenadines. It reads, with the recent deaths from severe burns after the gas station fire in Union Island, many persons have been wondering why there are not better facilities to deal with emergencies in the Grenadines, especially the distant southern Grenadines. Someone who said he was calling from the Grenadines spoke with President of the New Democratic Party, NDP, Dr. Godwin Friday on Monday on the party's radio program and raised the issue of the money being made by the government from investors in the Grenadines and the need for hospital facilities and especially a unit to take care of persons affected with the bends, which has affected divers in the Grenadines in the past. For more on this story, please read the news. This week's news editorial asks, Vinlec and Empire? Has the government statutory corporation St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited, Vinlec, been behaving as an empire or a government unto itself? The Prime Minister who heads the government thinks so, as he clearly stated 1 week ago on radio and reported in this paper on page 9 last week. And, further, he pointed out that this is not the first time he's disappointed with their behavior. And, worse, some people are impervious or hard to understand the principle of using discretion in relation to disconnecting citizens for arrears in payment of bills. Now, from what was said, it doesn't appear that Vinlec Chief Executive Officer Thornley Myers and the management of Vinlec did anything wrong. As Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said when he complained about disconnection of some persons and that members of cabinet had complained to him, the CEO then sent him a list of persons showing that the disconnections were not in violation of COVID or other measures he had implemented, and giving certain grace periods without disconnection. For more on this, please read the news. On the back page of the news, Awia mourning for McCoy. The village of Awia has been plunged into mourning over the death of a well-loved villager. The deceased, Oswin McCoy, died at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital last Sunday, May 24, 2020. The 62-year-old man left his home in Awia last Friday morning, May 22, to go to Kingstown. His daughter Siobhan McCoy told the news that her father left home around 5:45 a.m. on Friday. He was going by the port to collect a box which was coming from Trinidad. He was the type of person, when he went to town, He would just do what he had to do and come back home, Siobhan recalled. For more on this story, please read the news. Now let's look at the Searchlight. The front page reads, Mom, Daughter Stuck in Cuba. COVID-19 continues to negatively impact people's lives, and one such situation is the position in which Kirene Isaacs and her daughter Rashaika Unji King find themselves. The duo are currently in Cuba, where King underwent a surgical procedure to address breathing issues. The mother-daughter duo arrived in Cuba on March 3. King had her surgery on April 7 and left the Cuban medical facility on May 12. The surgery was fully funded by the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, SVG. Their accommodation in Cuba is also being paid for by the government. But Isaacs and King say they are ready to leave Cuba, as the lack of basic supplies like inadequate amount of drinking water, food and sanitary items is creating a problem for them. For more on this story, please read the Searchlight. On the back of the Searchlight, 4 dead in 4 days. In a period of 4 days, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, SVG, murder count rose from 11 to 15, as the Grim Reaper made an appearance, taking 3 males and 1 female with him. The killings started on Saturday, May 23 at 1:40 a.m. with the shooting death of Dencia Gazadin Corridon, 23, and her boyfriend Lionel Gobler George, 28. George, unemployed of Rockies, and Corridon, a businesswoman of Yambu, were shot at Arnos Vale. The incident also left a security guard nursing gunshot wounds at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, MCMH. According to investigations, George and Corridon were sitting in a car when 2 gunmen shot the couple. It has been reported that Corridon was shot 13 times, however Searchlight has been unable to independently verify this. Corridon died on the spot, but George was rushed to the MCMH where he succumbed to his injuries. For more on this story, please read the Searchlight. Also on the back pages, 7 Royal Caribbean crew test positive for COVID-19. This country has recorded 7 additional COVID-19 positive cases, following repatriation of Vincentian crew members from the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line this week. A release from the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, said the additional 7 cases are among 77 PCR results from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFE. The new positive cases, all of whom had previously tested positive on rapid antibody tests, are from 65 tests belonging to Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, RCCL crew members who arrived here on Tuesday, May 26 on the Vision of the Seas, the release said. It also said that the remaining 58 test results received on Wednesday, May 27, for the RCCL crew members were negative. There are 292 PCR results still outstanding for the RCCL crew members. For more on this story, please read the Searchlight. This Friday's editorial reads, The Hurricane Season, COVID-19 and Our Human Resource. Next Monday, June 1st, marks the official start of the hurricane season, a time of year filled with unpleasant memories for many of the region's peoples. Those memories are sure to have been reawakened by the gloomy predictions from the weather experts for the upcoming season. According to the official predictions, the hurricane season this year will be above normal. One can expect up to 16 named storms, we are told, and 7 hurricanes with 3 or 4 being major ones. Given the intensity of storms in recent years, a product of climate change, this is far from comforting news. For more on this editorial, please read the Searchlight. Now let's take a look at the Vincentian. Starting with This Week with Dr. Kenneth John. It reads, The Political System. Friday, May 29, 2020. Editor's note. This is an extract from a longer article written by Dr. Kenneth John and first published in the September 1972 edition of the Forum, the organ of the then Education Forum of the People, E.F.P. Two-party system a failure. All those with eyes to see must admit that our two-party system has been a signal failure. To begin with, there is no reason basis for its presence, there being not one whit of difference between two major groups that have sewn up the island between themselves. While we are on this question, we might as well pass one hurdle by knocking it down. It has been glibly said that the PPP is a lower-class party, and that Labour Party is the middle-class party. This is sheer nonsense. For more on this column, please read the Vincentian. This week's Vincentian editorial says, "We have the money." This country's parliament, in March of this year, passed into law the COVID-19 stimulus and socio-economic recovery package. It was, to put it in legal, parliamentary language, the passage of a supplementary appropriation bill that allowed, in this case, for extraordinary expenditure over and above, outside of the 2020 appropriation bill, i.e. the 2020 budget. This bill handed to the government permission to spend an extra $7.45 million, approximately 3.44% of the country's current GDP, to address the serious displacement that the COVID-19 pandemic would have wrought on the Vincentian economy. According to the Prime Minister, this supplementary appropriation bill, this stimulus package, was to be funded by the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund (IMF), the United Arab Emirates (UAE), Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines (BOSVG), the Contingency Fund of the Government of SVG, and finance institutions like the Caribbean Development Bank (CDB), and more. For more on this biting editorial, please read the Vincentian. This week's column by former Speaker of the House, Jomo Thomas states, "Last Monday was celebrated across the world as African Liberation Day. These days, very little is done here in SVG to mark this significant day, but in the 1970s and 80s, huge rallies, pickets, panel discussions and demonstrations were held demanding an end to colonialism and apartheid in Africa. The demand for independence was widespread among colonized peoples. Some took up arms and resorted to revolutionary violence to secure their freedom. When we speak of slavery and colonialism, crimes such as kidnapping, rape, mass murder, exploitation and human degradations come to mind. Continental Africans and those in the diaspora endured centuries of mistreatment. And then, in the 19th century, legal emancipation of the enslaved was achieved mainly through the efforts of our ancestors. For more on this contribution, please read the Vincentian." Also in the Vincentian, Ulrich Hansen of Mairo, one of 4 men charged with the 2018 murder of 50-year-old security guard Rodney George of Victoria Village, was sentenced to 6 months in prison at the Kaliakwa Magistrates Court on Monday. Hansen received the sentence for inducing into Her Majesty's prison one black Alcatel cellular phone and charger, which are prohibited articles, contrary to Section 47B of the Prisons Act, Chapter 393 of the Laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Revised Edition 2009. For more on this story, see page 4 or the court section of the Vincentian. This story was written by veteran reporter Hayden Higgins. News 784, an online publication, reports police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Jamari Phillips, a 10-year-old student of Richland Park. According to investigations, Jamari's motionless body was discovered with multiple chop wounds to his neck, head, and hands at his home about 12:30 p.m. on 29.05.2020. For more on this story, visit www.news784.com. We at CTVIEW Multimedia and Nice Radio with this production of Peruse the News does not intend to malign anyone or institution living or dead, nor has had the opportunity to qualify these news items as facts. We do this simply to bring awareness to some items in this week's established print media. Thanks for listening, and don't forget this production was sponsored by Insta Coupons, Around Town Deals. We invite you to visit our social media handles on WhatsApp, 784-491-9140, Facebook, Carlisle CTVIEW Douglas and Instagram, Carlisle CTVIEW. Once again, thank you and don't forget to buy the newspapers and peruse the news.